Okay, so we're up to verse aliyah, the sixth aliyah for the Torah and devariim, which is Deuteronomy or Devariim chapter 2, verse 31. And the Lord said to me, Behold, I have begun to deliver Sihon and his land before you. Begin to drive him out that you may inherit his land. Now, wait, this just happened. Like this whole incident is at the 38th year, which is where we are now. So why is Moses has to like not only remind them what happened 38 years ago, but he has to remind them like what happened like just like a week ago, right? I mean, like but it's important. It's important to remind people of things, and not only remind them. You don't always remind them with the exact same words, and not only that, like our memory of things is a little bit not always clear, right? But like Moses obviously is a prophet, so his memory is. But even Moses, with his prophecy that he has, still doesn't give you the exact way that it happened. He changes. He changes things. I don't know how else to say it. He doesn't exactly give a word, an exact. It's not exact word for word retelling of what we already read and what we already know about. It's a reminder, but with different words. Then Sichon went forth towards us, and he and all his people to the war at Jazeh. And the Lord our God delivered him to us, and we smote him and his sons and all his people. And we conquered all his cities at that time and utterly destroyed every city, the men, the women, and the young children who were left over, no survivor. But didn't he leave the women behind? Wasn't Moses angry about that, or was that a different battle? Only the cattle we took for a prey unto ourselves with the spoil of the cities which we had taken. And from our Orier, which is the edge of the valley of Ornon, and from the city that is even in the valley, even until Gilad, there was not a city too high for us. The Lord our God delivered up us all before. So now, right, it's interesting because he's telling like what happened, but he's giving more detail. In this retelling of what happened, now we're learning about new cities, new situation, new thing. I mean, things that were like they're new to the reader, but like meaning like when last parsha, last 2 or 3 parshas, when it didn't give all these battles. So here we're giving even more detail. So sometimes, so why is Moses all of a sudden adding in things that he didn't say before? Maybe to give them hizuk to say, hey, remember that, and remember this. Oh yeah, and remember this, and remember that. So give them like the koach to like, hey man, we're gonna be okay. Only to the land of the children of Ammon you came in not near, and all the side of the river Yabok, and the cities of the hill country, and wherever God had commanded, only to the land of the children you came not near. All the side of the river Jabok, and the cities of the hill country, and wherever the Lord our God commanded us to not go or to go. It's not very clear. Okay, verse 1. And then we turned and went up the way of Bashan and Og, the king of Bashan. So the way was called Bashan. And Og was a person. He was a king of Bashan, came forth towards us, he and all his people to war at Edrei. And the Lord said to me, do not fear him, for I have given him and all his people and his land into your hand, and you will do to him as you did to Sihon, king of the Amorites, and dwell in Heshbon. So we're going to get all this area, which I guess is like northern Jordan, like the Golan Heights, kind of Syria as well, the whole area, and it's parts of Syria. And so the Lord our God delivered into our hands also Og, the king of Bashan, and all his people. We smote him until no remnant remained of him. And we conquered all his cities at that time. There was not a town that we did not take from him. 60 cities, all the territory of Argob, the king of Og and Bashan. So who was the king? I thought his name was Og, but really his name was Argob. All these cities were fortified with high walls, double doors, and bolts, in addition to a great many unwalled cities. So he's kind of reminding them, see, it was really hard. Don't you remember how hard the battles were? But even the unwalled cities were hard battles, probably. And we utterly destroyed them as we did to Sihon, king of Heshbon, utterly destroying every city, the men, the women, and the young children. The Torah sometimes tells you things that are quite brutal. But all the beasts and the spoils of the cities we took as spoils for ourselves. And at that time we took the land out of the hands of the 2 kings of the Amorites who were on that side of the Jordan, from the brook of Jordan to Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon's all the way over in Lebanon. Well, now it's part of Israel, right? But it's like on our northern border, Mount Hermon. The Sidonians call Hermon Sirion, and the Amorites call it Sinir. So this mountain had three different names. It's a very important and famous mountain because I have got a good look. You can look out over all of Lebanon, you can get a look over all of Syria, and you get a good look over Israel. It's a great location. And the city, now we just use it as a ski resort. And the cities of the plain and all of Gilad and all of Bashan to Shalchach and Edrei, cities of the king of Og and Bashan. For only Og, king of Bashan, was left from the remnant of the Rephaim. His bedstead was a bedstead of iron, is it not, in Rabbah of the children of Ammon? 9 cubits was his length, and 4 cubits his breadth, according to the cubit of a man. Now, cubit's about a foot, right? So he was 9 feet tall, or just his bed. Maybe his bed was just super tall. Like he had a gigantic king-size bed. It doesn't mean he himself was 9 feet tall. It doesn't say he himself was 9 feet tall. So his bed was 9 cubits, whatever a cubit is. Let's say it's 12 inches, right? So it's a little bit more than a meter. It's about a meter, so we're talking about 9 meters. But yeah, and 4 cubits, so another 4. He just had a super long and wide bed. It doesn't mean he himself was super tall. Just saying. And then the land which we possess at the time from Arior, which is in the brook of Arnon, and the Mount of Gilad. This Mount of Gilad is really super important. And its cities, which I gave to the Reubenites and to the Gadites. Now, wait a minute, you didn't give it to them. They asked for it. You didn't want to give it to them. They asked for it, and you agreed. Remember Moses. Moses is just a funny guy. And the rest of Gilad. So Gilad wasn't just a mountain. It was like a whole region. And all of Bashan, the kingdom of Og. I mean, wow, we're really repeating ourselves, right? The Torah, man, come on. I gave to half the tribe of Manasseh and all the territory of Argob. Remember him? We just mentioned him just now. All the Bashan that is called the land of the Rephaim. So all that area you're getting. I mean, I'm just going to keep on telling you, reminding you, just reminding you over and over and over again. Jar, the son of Manasseh, took all the territory of Argob into the boundaries of the Gusherites, none of the Gusherites, and the Machathaites, and called them even Bashan after his own name, villages, even Bashan. So he changed the name, and he gave it it's after his own name, which is Jaar to this day. Now, okay, wait, the village of Jaar are not still called that to this day. So what does it mean until this day? So the Torah uses until this day, Ad Yom Hazeh, but it doesn't mean forever. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't, all right? Or does it mean that day that Moses is talking until this day now that I'm talking? But I'm not going to talk about the future, maybe the name of, so it says Ad Yom Hazeh, like meaning when Moses was speaking right then, now that's the name. And up until this day, but after this day, it could change its name again. It could change hands again. Does it mean Ad Yom Hazeh, like until perpetuity, until forever? Like Ad Yom Hazeh it can have a few different meanings. Doesn't always mean forever.